or non-cab configurations. See Bain Welker for details or visit bain-welker.com. Bain Welker, employee-owned, customer-focused.
Hey, who's hungry? Because I've got a deal for you. Dennis Siddell here to introduce you something new to the Morning Mayhem. Every weekday at 6:55, it's Denny's Diner. Yep, Joe and I will cook up some trivia questions, and if you have the correct answer, you'll be the winner of a $20 gift card from either JJ's Side Out Bar and Grill, the Burger Bar and Grill, JJ's Pizza Shack, Wanna Pizza, or Nowhere Bar and Grill. So join us weekdays for Denny's Diner at 6:55 on the Morning Mayhem for your chance to win here on 96.7 The
Old snow, 2-hour delays from school. Yet here we are, but at least we have each other on this Friday, March 11th, and we're going to get through it together. So today on the show, we have Democratic Party Chairman for LaPorte County, Dr. Vidya Kora, and we're going to be talking over the next couple months about the primary, these kind of things, and I've invited both party chairs, Dr. Vidya Kora and Mr. Alan Stevens on, and Alan will be on in about a week and a half, and he'll talk about the Republican Party. So if anybody thinks that we're just favoring one party, which I'm sure we will get that comment, that we are not. We just want to continue to provide access to all of our listeners and those who are watching on Facebook Live, that, again, these are the people that are crafting and helping pick candidates, and again, trying to hopefully win your vote, but also your trust, because that's part of the political process, is earning the trust of voters, so that they know that their best interest is in mind. So we've got Dr. Vidya Kora here. How are you, Doctor? Good to have you.
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Nate. I appreciate it. And first of all, before we get into the conversation, I want to thank you for all you do for the community, including the church. And it's especially going through the pandemic, it has been rough for faith organizations to help everybody in need. And so I appreciate everything you do and all the faith leaders do in our community.
Yeah, it's been an honor to continue doing what we do at the PAC Center and all these kind of things. And it's good to have you on the show. Real quick, before we get into your role as the Democratic Party chair here in LaPorte County, I did want to get a brief COVID-19 update. You are a doctor and have provided a lot of feedback and everything for us here on the station. Numbers are down significantly, correct, for the transmission?
Yes, the numbers are down significantly. When I last checked our county numbers, I think we have about 5 positive cases per day. So which are really, it's such a blessing that the numbers have come down nicely. And even in my practice in the office as well as in the hospital, the numbers are down significantly. We still see occasional cases, but we definitely, compared to where things were late December and January, I think we are in a much, much better place.
So what's the future? Obviously, nobody fully knows. This is a novel coronavirus, and it's evolved and changed and done some different things that some expected and some didn't. Do you expect it, like many, doctors and medical experts and virologists, that it's going to continue to essentially get weaker in time, or are you unwilling to think you just don't know?
This is a very tricky virus, and it behaves in different ways. And I'm still surprised and as to some of the different manifestations people with COVID come in with. But having said that, I think one thing is we need to accept and be grateful, is that the numbers are down, and a significant portion of that is because of the awareness and the vaccines that people have taken, and also the natural progression of disease. So in one sentence, what I would like to say, Nate, is that we have moved from the pandemic and an epidemic form to more like an endemic form. Like many of the infectious diseases become endemic. So a low level of infection can continue for a long period of time. And from time to time, depending on the emergence of variants, like we saw the variants that came on in December, then we can have a sudden spike. But having said that, it has been the opinion of various leaders in the infectious disease world that if people are vaccinated and boosted, then they will have a significant protection even from the variants. So let me summarize in one sentence how I am approaching as an individual. And what I am doing is I am vaccinated, I am boosted. When I am taking care of patients in the office or in the hospital, I wear my mask. If I go into public places, which are indoor public places where there are a large number of people, and I'm not sure whether people are vaccinated or not, I wear a mask. Otherwise, I don't wear a mask anymore.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that brief update for COVID-19. I do appreciate that. But the reason you're here and why I invited you on again is I invited both the party chairs locally, the Republican and the Democratic Party chair, to come on the show and let's talk a little bit about what you're expecting to see here, hopefully in the next couple months as the primary heats up and then we got a general election in 2022. Lots of important races. You know, what's really interesting is we follow politics here on Sound Off. Is obviously right now everyone's got their eyes glued to what's happening in Ukraine because it is such a big issue. There are lots of things happening there, and it's hard to kind of, you know, take your eyes away from what happens each day. But there's a lot of local campaigns that are heating up and things like this. What issues locally are some of your candidates, some of the Democratic candidates, really trying to focus on in this political season?
You know, I think the pocketbook issues of jobs, economic development, having healthy communities, safe communities, making sure that our public employees are well taken care of, their salaries are competitive, that way we retain talent in our community. But how do we pay for it? There are some differences of opinion on that. But the good thing is we are all together when we say that we want to have safe communities and we want to have good individuals in law enforcement and in public safety who are well compensated. And then, you know, attract new companies, promote economic development, build jobs. Like we are going to have this mattress company, which we got started on when I was on the county commission, which will be expanding and creating several hundred new jobs. We had the Michigan City Courthouse, which was completed, and our county staff has moved into the new courthouse, and everybody is happy. It was done on time, on budget, and so I think a lot of positive things are happening in our community in spite of what we dealt with because of the COVID pandemic. And it's also important, Nate, that we need to make sure that our kids who have really suffered through this pandemic because of COVID restrictions, because we were focusing on their health and well-being. And now we want to make sure that they are back in schools, they are getting in-person learning, because the kids have suffered, the parents have suffered, the teachers have suffered going through this pandemic. And we want to make sure that the kids are well educated. They whatever deficiencies they had because of not getting in-person education, those are all made up, and then they can compete in a very complex and competitive world. So I think those are all the things that are important for all of us, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican or independent. And so those are the things. How do we go about accomplishing those goals? Is what the candidates will be talking about. And I'm very grateful that we have some wonderful candidates on our team, and they'll be campaigning for their slots on the ballot during the primary. And then, of course, they'll compete again in November in the fall in the general election.
So we've got Dr. Vidya Kora, who is the LaPorte County chairperson for the Democratic Party, and we're talking to him about what kind of issues they're expecting to see and what kind of things they're doing, some of the candidates they have. If you have a question, the Liquor Vault on-air line is 219-362-0522. You're welcome to call me. Our text line is still not working yet. Don't know why. I'm just going to tell you it's not working. But hopefully you can call me. You can always email me at soundoff@967theeagle.com. Or you can just comment online. We're streaming live on Facebook right now, hometownnewsnow.com or 96.7 The Eagle. Comment there, and we'll see it here in the studio. So, Dr. Kora, one of the things that the Democrats have really tried to talk about, and one of President Biden's issues that he's really tried to champion, is the infrastructure, right? There's a large joke going on in Washington for years, really much of my life, that it's infrastructure week, right? That everyone wants to get an infrastructure deal done. And it seems like there was an infrastructure deal done. Now, how does this infrastructure deal that was, signed and put into law impact us here in LaPorte County?
The infrastructure bill was passed, and then the bill was signed by President Biden. And fortunately, it was a bipartisan infrastructure bill because, our problems are extraordinary, and we really need bipartisan cooperation to solve these problems. And I'm grateful that 19 Republican senators and 17 Republican House members supported the bipartisan infrastructure bill. Unfortunately, none of the Republicans from Indiana's congressional delegation voted in favor of this bill, which will bring to Indiana $9 billion with a B to repair roads and bridges, about $100 million in addition to the $250 million that came to the American Rescue Plan for improving broadband. Nate, as you know, Indiana is a rural state, and broadband access is not where it should be. And the access to broadband is an absolute necessity as we move forward into the digital age and digital world, to work and to educate ourselves and to get health care. So I think this $100 million in addition to the $250 million will be a phenomenal help. And at this point, I also want to mention that I was so happy when I learned that LaPorte County got the designation as the first county to be broadband ready. When the infrastructure bill was passed, and and that was partly because of the leadership shown in the county. I think Commissioner Matias had formed the broadband task force and really did a phenomenal job on the with the task force. And there were many private individuals who volunteered their time on this task force. Now, in addition to the roads, the bridges, and broadband, water infrastructure is an important thing, and about $750 million will come to the state for water infrastructure to make sure that people have safe water supplies and reliable water supplies. And then also about $680 million will be coming to the state of Indiana for improving public transportation in our state, especially in some of the urban areas. So I think we have extraordinary growth that's going to happen as a result of the infrastructure bill. It'll create hundreds of well-paying union jobs. And these are some things, the benefits that people are going to see over the next few months.
All right. Well, we're going to take a first break of the day and get back to some callers. I see some callers are on the line. Just stay with us for a couple more minutes, and we'll get to you right after this break on 96.7 The Eagle.
Ben Conowitz here, LaPorte Seamless Gutter, 219-362-9972. Fall is here, and that means leaves and debris for your gutter system. We've got 3 separate types of gutter guard for your home. Leaves and debris come in all shapes and sizes. We don't need a one-size-fits-all for your gutter. Give us a call today for a free estimate at 219-362-9972, or you can visit us on the web, www.lpseamless.com.
Vote Fagan 2022. Who is Sean Fagan? He's a lawyer. He's a Republican. Sean Fagan, running for LaPorte County Prosecutor 2022. Sean Fagan knows that LaPorte County is a great place to live, and he wants to keep it that way. Sean Fagan for LaPorte County Prosecutor 2022. Be safe. Be strong. Let's work together. Vote Sean Fagan 2022. This message paid for by Fagan for Prosecutor.
Here's another job opportunity from HometownNewsNow.com.
The LaPorte City Fire Department is accepting applications for firefighter employment with salary starting at $50,000 per year. Must be between 21 and 36 years of age and a high school graduate. Apply at the city website or in person at Fire Station Number 1, 809 West 18th Street. Applications must be postmarked by April 8th, so don't wait. Browse to thecityoflaporte.com/department/fire.
This has been a Jobs Spotlight Extra. Look under Hot Topics at HometownNewsNow.com for job details.
Join 96.7 The Eagle every Sunday morning at 8:30 a.m. for Calvary Baptist Church's Faith and Worship Sermons. You'll be enlightened with Pastor Tim Schreier's Words of God and music. Be sure to join us every Sunday morning at 8:30 a.m. for Calvary Baptist Church's Faith and Worship Sermons. If you like what you heard, be sure to join them at Calvary Baptist Church's location on Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m. and Wednesday evening at 6 o'clock for worship. Calvary Baptist Church is located on I Street here in LaPorte.
Look at all the things I've collected over the years in here, Dave.
Why, Dad?
So you'll have many things to remember me by, and, I'm sure you can use it all someday.
But, Dad, I can't use all these things.
Yeah, but just think, it's all yours someday.
Oh, wow. Thanks, Dad. Is that a bumper I see buried with this stuff?
Oh, hey, yeah, I believe it's your mom's 1976 Pinto. And again, it's going to be yours someday.
Do you have things you don't need or want anymore? Are you tired of seeing things that you thought was a good idea to buy and then turn around and put it away in some corner of your garage? Well, you're in luck. At 96.7 The Eagle, we can help by reading your garage, rummage, estate, or yard sale during Tradio. All you need to do is visit HometownNewsNow.com, click on the Submit tab, and fill out the form, and we'll contact you for the payment. It's that simple. Of course, we do accept debit and credit cards for payment. So listen weekdays at 9:45 for your sale to be read live on 96.7 The Eagle, and check out the listings at HometownNewsNow.com.
Thank you for tuning in to Sound Off. You can now text or email your questions directly to the studio. Call or text 362-0522 or email your questions to soundoff@967theeagle.com. This is Sound Off.
Welcome back, friends. We've got LaPorte County Democratic Chairman Dr. Vidya Kora on the show with us today. And we're taking your questions for him. And we've got the phone line here, 219-362-0522, or email me at soundoff@967theeagle.com. Be happy to hear from you. Let's get to our first caller. Hey, thanks so much for listening to the show. What's your question for Dr. Vidya Kora?
Good afternoon. Thank you for coming on the air, Mr. Kora, today to answer questions. My question concerns the county home. Why, after all the commissioner meetings, the videos, I've attended a couple of those meetings, the minutes, I've read a couple of those, there was never any pursuit of a nationwide realtor or an auctioneer that specializes in that type of property to get advertising across the whole country. Instead, the only thing that I saw was being pursued were tax credits to create another non-for-profit that wouldn't pay any taxes and would possibly, in my personal opinion, become another organization being run by Shaw Freeman, similar to the Swanson Center. Thank you.
All right, yeah. What are your comments on the county home and what happened there?
Yeah. The county home, obviously, we live in a community. There are different individuals who have different opinions. The county home has a historical aspect to it. And there are many individuals in the county who wanted to preserve that historical aspect of the county home. And so what happened was, I think somebody needs to understand why the county home existed and why it went out of business. So the county home was there to take care of people who did not have a home. And there used to be funding from the state called the ARCH funding. And that ARCH funding disappeared. And then the county home became old and it did not have the facilities that people were looking for, like bathrooms and attached bathrooms and things like that. And then so more and more people were drifting towards nursing homes and assisted living facilities. So when the county home closed a few years ago, the option was, how do we repurpose this, and how do we preserve the historical aspect of the county home? So we wanted to preserve the exterior, the county home exterior, preserve the barn, and also transform the interior in such a way that we have housing units that could benefit veterans, it could benefit people with disabilities, and people, it's a mixed use housing is what we were looking for. And we went and pursued getting tax credit grants from the Indiana Housing Development Authority. And there are many tax credit projects that have come to LaPorte County in the past. Now, the Rumney property is one of them. The art space in Michigan City is one of them. And these are not successful in the first or second attempts, and sometimes it takes several attempts to get that kind of a funding. Unfortunately, after 2 attempts, we did not get the funding we were looking for. My personal preference would have been to go and for the 3rd time and try one more time to get that funding, because what that would have done was it would have brought in about $10 million of private money, not taxpayer money, but private money into the community, and develop housing for individuals who are in need, and then preserve the historical aspect of the county home. I think it was a great idea. Many people were very supportive of it. And in terms of the auction, the council, after a couple of attempts, the county council was keen on getting it sold. And then we, the county auditor and the county commissioners and the council, we all worked together, and there was an auction that was held. And unfortunately, there was only one person who bid for it, and that's the reason why it was sold for the price it was sold for. So I think that's the quick summary.
All right. Well, thank you so much. We've got other callers here. Let's get to another caller. Hey, thanks for listening to the show. Thanks for calling. You've got Dr. Vidya Kora here. What's your question?
Hey, Nate, thanks for taking my call. And Nate, now's the time to make your doctor's appointment for a colonoscopy, a democratic colonoscopy. That this could be the right time, buddy. Dr. Vidya Kora, what a pleasure. Good to see you again always. And when you were our county commissioner, there was a lot of discussion and debate you were involved in with NIPSCO generating plant. And God bless NIPSCO and all their employees. We love them and thank them for the natural gas and electric and keeping it running. So unfortunately, they are a private company. We thank them for that. But by 2028, they got 4 coal-fired electric generating stations that are going offline. Unfortunately, it looks like Michigan City coal-fired generating plant is going to be one of them. They've got a great article on this on the Times newspaper, March 14th, 2021. So that's the Times newspaper, March 14th, 2021. On the back page, it's all covered, and it'll explain it all. Precisely, Dr. Corin, what discussions were made if they close the coal-fired generating plant down here, NIPSCO in Michigan City? Did we have a choice to go to American Electric Power in Bridgman, Michigan, or Arcelor nuclear plant in Illinois? What were the options? And I'll get off the air. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Have a blessed day today.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks so much for calling. Yeah. What were the options? Did the county have any options? Were they involved with any of those negotiations?
No, I think that was NIPSCO's decision to close. But when they were doing that, one of the things we requested was to invest some money in LaPorte County, and also because we have land and they could that can be developed for energy through wind. And so especially in the south part of the county. And so there were some discussions, there were some dialogues that was conducted with NIPSCO through the commission, but I don't remember right now exactly how it ended. But in terms of going to Bridgman and going to nuclear, no, there was absolutely no discussions. And the decision to close the plant was in Michigan City was NIPSCO's decision.
All right, let's get to one more caller before break. Thanks so much for listening to the show. Thanks for calling. We've got Dr. Vidya Kora in the not in the studio, online today. But what's your question for Dr. Kora?
Oh, hi. I thank you for answering the earlier question about the infrastructure monies, but what about the ARP monies? Has anything been earmarked yet for ARP monies, and exactly how are they going to benefit LaPorte County?
Great question. What about the ARP money?
Well, thank you very much for that question. Now, the ARP, the American Rescue Plan that was passed by Congress, signed by President Biden, it pumped in millions and millions of dollars into the states, into the cities, and into the counties. And that money is being used to deal with some of the hardships from the COVID pandemic. And it gave extraordinary amount of flexibility to local government entities to spend that money to take care of bonuses, pay for the employees, to build infrastructure, to improve ventilation systems in buildings so that they can deal effectively with COVID. A variety of funding mechanisms were established. And the state used some of that money to come up with the READY program, READI, and they gave money to regional entities, including Northwest Indiana. I think about $500 million. Grants were given so that different communities can spend that money on programs that are important to their communities. So the American Rescue Plan has been an extraordinary success in terms of funding states, cities, and local governments. And it also gave a significant amount of money for expanding broadband, which I covered earlier. So some money came through the infrastructure bill, a significant amount of money came through the American Rescue Plan for expanding broadband. And also some of the money was used for improving the ventilation system, the water systems. So all these will benefit local communities. It will create high-paying union jobs, and it will address some of the problems we as communities and counties had to deal with when we were confronting this pandemic.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that answer, and thanks for the question. We're going to get to more questions after this, but we're going to take a break. If you've got a question for Dr. Vidya Kora, 219-362-0522. I'd love to hear from you. We got about 10 minutes, a little more than that on the show. You still have time to call, 219-362-0522. Hey, stay where you're at. We'll be right back here on 96.7 The Eagle.
Car problems often strike at the absolute worst times, but you can rest well knowing that Cannon's Automotive Service is here for you and dedicated to get you back on the road with prompt, efficient, same-day service. The same Cannon's commitment that LaPorte has trusted for over 50 years. Cannon's Automotive Service, now with 2 locations, 710 Tyler Street and 909 Boyd Boulevard.
With Cannon's Automotive, we fix everything.
There's something new in LaPorte. Introducing Cricket Wireless on Pine Lake Avenue. You're invited to the grand opening celebration on Saturday, March the 12th from 10 till 7. Taco My Friend will be at Cricket Wireless from 11 till 2, serving free lunch. Tons of giveaways, including a PlayStation 5 plus gift cards for Amazon, Kroger, and Toady Floral. Switch to Cricket Wireless while you're there and get a $50 account credit. It's the grand opening of Cricket Wireless in LaPorte's Pine Lake Plaza from 10 till 7 on Saturday, March the 12th. See store for more details.
Tech Credit Union makes home loans easy. Their experienced loan officers can help you buy your first home, make your next move, or simply refinance your current mortgage. They can also help you unlock your home's equity to get the cash you need for any purpose. Let Tech Credit Union show you why they are the better option for a home loan. To learn more, visit techcu.org or contact the LaPorte branch at 219-266-3100. That's 219-266-3100. Tech Credit Union is equal housing lender and federally insured by the NCUA.
When it comes to school delays and closings, you can always count on 96.7 The Eagle for fast, dependable, and accurate updates. Whether it's on the air, online, or social media, we keep you up to date whenever there is a closing or delay of the area schools. Closings and delays are brought to you by these fine sponsors.
Flanagan Tire, Harmon E-Pools, Melt Kitchen, LaPorte Community Federal Credit Union, Milmar Buildings, Frank L. Kazai Funeral Home, Estlin Chapel, Swanson Center, Allstate Prendergast Agency, and Castle Ford of Michigan City.
For the latest in closings and delays, turn on your source for news, weather, and local information. 96.7 The Eagle.
Michiana weather.
32 this afternoon under cloudy skies, west winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Chance of snow tonight 16. About an inch of snow tonight through tomorrow night. From the Weather Center at HometownNewsNow.com. Right now 28.
We're waiting to hear from you. Dial or text 362-0522 and let us know what you think. That's 362-0522. Back to Sound Off on 96.7 The Eagle.
Did I just hear another inch of snow possibly tonight? What is going on with you guys? Would you please stop praying for snow? This is not my best life, I'm telling you. We've got Dr. Vidya Kora on the show today, and we're talking with him about the priorities of the LaPorte County Democrats, these kind of things. Here in a couple weeks, we've got Alan Stevens, the chair of the LaPorte County Republicans, on the show, and we'll talk to him as well. So let's get to our callers. Hey, welcome to the show. You've got Dr. Vidya Kora. What's your question?
Hi, Nate. Is that me?
Yeah, that's you, bud.
Okay, I've got a simple question, and please have a simple answer without a story. If that was a legitimate auction for that old folks' home, and the opening bid was $50,000, I can dig you up 50 people that would have upped that bid $10,000. So I never heard about it. I bought a pickup truck that cost $2,000 more than what that property sold for. Now, can we answer that question honestly? Thank you.
All right, yeah. So, Dr. Kora, why was it started at $50,000 auction?
No, that was the recommendation made by the person who was conducting the auction. And, the thing is, I wish people had come and if they had come and attended the auction, and if they had bid it higher, they could have gotten it. Yes, absolutely. But nobody showed up. But now in retrospect, they said, well, I wish I had known. There was a public notice. It was there. And unfortunately, nobody showed up. There was one person who came and who bid on it, and they got it.
And we had Randy Novak on the show, for those that did not listen to that episode. And he did say, though, that Larry Lemondowski, who is the maintenance and handles all the building, did show the building to other people, but no one was really interested in bidding on it. Is that correct?
No, we had about 4 or 5 entities who came and walked through. Obviously, if anybody thinks that we would not try to get more money for that, I don't know what kind of world they live in. No, we tried our best to get as much as we could, but there was, unfortunately, in spite of the efforts, there was only one entity who made the bid for it. Now, all this, the individuals who are saying, oh my God, we would have gotten 400,000, 500,000, they could have come and they could have bid for the property for 60,000, 70,000, 80,000, but nobody did.
All right, let's get to another caller. We've got Dr. Vidya Kora in the studio. All right, hello, welcome to the show. Glad to have you. What's your question for Dr. Kora?
Hey, Nate. Hey, Doc. Just wanted to have a simple question, and it's I haven't heard why should someone vote Democrat in 2022? You've been talking about prior success, but I want to hear about the future. Let's talk about that. I'll hang up and listen.
All right, good question. So for those that are, obviously most people aren't partisan, right? They're looking at the candidates, these kind of things. Give a reason for why would somebody vote Democrat in 2022?
At a local level, I think what we stand for is transparency, clean government, focusing on pocketbook issues, making sure we have jobs, we have economic opportunity, good education, good jobs, good healthcare, good infrastructure. I think those are the things we'll be focusing on. We are not into culture wars. I know our opponents are always into culture wars, and I have zero interest in culture wars, and many people in my party have zero interest in culture wars. We want to focus on how to make life better for us, and how we can build a stronger community, a more economically vibrant community where kids who are growing up would love to stay here, and people are attracted to come and move into our area and make this our home, open businesses, and make this a vibrant community. And we have great opportunity. Because of the pandemic, more and more people are moving out of the cities. They're moving out into surrounding communities. So we have a great opportunity from that. We have a great opportunity from the South Shore expansion and double tracking. So I think we need to utilize those opportunities and realize our full potential. And that's what the Democratic Party and the office holders from the Democratic Party are going to focus on.
All right. Well, we've got just a couple minutes left on the show. Let's get to another caller. We've got Dr. Vidya Kora in the studio today on the show. What's your question for Dr. Kora?
Not so much a question, but good afternoon, gentlemen. Jeff Santana, and I was on the county council formerly when we did auction off the home. And in Dr. Kora's defense, absolutely, we went. They were looking at like $8 million to get that thing back in livable, working, conditions or whatever for people. One thing that I had done is I checked with our maintenance man during that time, and they came up with a number that each year that we were going over there and maintaining, doing different things with shutting off the water and, of course, cutting the grass and all that, we were spending approximately $7,000 a year. And so after 5 years of that sitting, obviously that's about $35,000. And we, again, applying for those grants and trying to get some funds to make it work just didn't happen. Now, the one thing that I will say, and I was on that council, and Dr. Kora was on the commission, and I think that the 10 of us basically, where we did drop the ball, and I will say this, we dropped the ball by not having a minimum selling price on it. And that would be, and that's hindsight. And that it was worth a lot more money, everybody, but understand the circumstances that went into it. And it was just something, again, that we thought, it was going to sell for more, get it into somebody's hands so that it could get on the tax rolls and that type of thing. So just wanted to make mention of that. Real quick, last caller or whatever, why should somebody vote Democrat? Why should somebody vote Republican? Vote for the person, ladies and gentlemen, and especially on the local level. That's where it really counts. Your big election, I'm telling you again, it's an electoral vote. I don't even know why the president of the...
All right, let's get to another caller, sir. We got only 2 minutes per caller. All right, here we go. Thanks so much for calling. You're our last caller of the day. What's your question for Dr. Vidya Kora?
Hello, is that me?
Yeah, that's you.
Very good. Dr. Kora just said transparency was the first thing on the Democratic list of accomplishments. I'm sure he's aware that the original notice for the sale of the county farm was a Ziegler Road address. It wasn't even listed on Highway 2. And secondly, I'm sure Dr. Kora would tell you that there was never even a sign put up in front of the building that it was going to be for sale. So to say that there were only 4 people show up, well, there were a whole lot of people didn't know about it. There aren't a lot of people read the newspaper anymore because there aren't that many subscriptions. And when you list Ziegler Road, nobody was thinking about property south of Highway 2. So, Dr. Kora, we can say transparency, but not always do we get transparency. Thank you very much.
All right, I'll give you the final word on this, Dr. Kora.
Yeah, we have always stood for transparency. Now, can errors happen in some of the listing? Yes, but every effort was made to publicize the same. If anybody watched county commissioner council meetings, this was discussed. My God only knows how many times, and it was in the newspaper. It was newspaper as a news article. It was there in advertisements, so it was there. And so I know somebody. I think we need to focus on the future. Yes, I wish the county had gotten more money, but unfortunately, nobody came and bid for it. That's the reality, and we have to accept it. My personal preference was not to sell it at all. Let me end it by saying my personal preference was to go for another attempt to get the tax credit money, because to get $8 to $10 million of private funding, tax credit money, and create a nice housing opportunity for individuals like veterans and people with disabilities was a very good proposition, and that would have been my preference.
All right. Well, I want to thank you so much for being on the show today, and I want to thank all of our listeners. Again, they can find, I think there's a website for the Democrats they can look at, right? Is that online or no?
Yes.
What is that website? Do you know?
Yeah, it's the LaPorte County Democrats.
All right. Well, if you want to find out more, you can find them online on the website or Facebook. I'm sure in a couple of weeks we'll have Alan Stevens here for the Republicans. You can ask him more questions. Again, I want to encourage you to go to hometownnewsnow.com. You'll find a banner there for the Election HQ site. All of the candidates that we've asked all the candidates, and there's a lot of them that have filled out their platform, these kind of things, Republican, Democrat. You can find out more information about who you can vote for this election season. We'll be back on Monday. Sean Fagan will be here to answer your questions. He's a Republican candidate for county prosecutor. But until then, be good to yourself, be good to others, and keep listening to 96.7 The Eagle.
Thank you for joining us and voicing your opinion on this edition of Sound Off. The views on Sound Off are those of the host or callers and do not represent the opinion of 96.7 The Eagle, Spoon River Media LLC, or the sponsors. Sound Off airs every Monday and Friday at 12:30. Please mark your calendar and join us again for the next edition of Sound Off on 96.7 The Eagle. Your home for country music variety is 96.7 The Eagle, WCOE FM LaPorte.
Michiana weather.
32 this afternoon under cloudy skies, west winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Chance of snow tonight, 16. About